The Vancouver Canucks unfortunately lose to the Edmonton Oilers in Game 7. We're going to break down what players said, what Tocchet had to say, and more on this episode of Canucks Digest. But before I start, I just want to give a huge shout out to the 2,055 you guys that are subscribed. It is a little heartfelt moment, and if you guys don't want to hear this, definitely skip ahead. But we started this channel just a few months ago, going through the season with the Canucks. Seeing the community grow has just been outstanding, seeing your guys' support, loving the videos. Just because the season's over, we are not stopping. And Griffen, do you have anything to say to all the subscribers?
Just very big thank you to everybody who subscribes and helped us get to 2,000 over the weekend. It was great to see all the support out in full range, and we can't wait to see where this goes from here.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. But with that, let's hop straight into the first topic today, which is the players speak out on the loss. So we do have a lot of just tweets of quotes and everything from the presser. Shout out Katie Pettersson for doing God's work, putting all these quotes up. The first one I wanted to touch on was Miller on the fan support, and I couldn't agree with his statement even more. It hit me emotionally at the end of the game when they were cheering for us. When you see that, you know you're in a good place and a good market with really good things for the future. And just in my opinion, the fan support this entire playoffs have been outstanding. From them cheering every second of the game, not giving up, chanting players' names. We've seen guys like Connor Garland cry during post games. We've seen just multiple players just tearing up from how much this team supported them. And Griffen, what's your thoughts on the fans?
The fans were amazing this entire season, this entire postseason. Like you said, chanting the names. You heard Connor Garland, you heard Let's Go Petey, you heard all the chants in full volume tonight. It sounded like the roof was going to blow off of the arena. I wish that I was there. Unfortunately, it wasn't the result that we wanted, but I just wish I was there for the atmosphere and to see how electric it was in there. And JT Miller really summed it up. You know, the passion with this guy, he is a natural born leader. He is one of the pillars of this team for a reason. And the way he came out and was hard on himself after a bad game 4 and then into game 5 where he was able to show up and show out and then to really try and rally the troops after this loss. It's really amazing to see how much passion he has. You know, he is what you want in a competitor. A real competitor, like you love to win, but a real competitor hates to lose more than they love winning. And JT Miller and everyone else on this Canucks team absolutely embodies that, and they are all competitors. And I will take a team of competitors over a team of superstars any day. Could not be more proud of this team and what they've done this season.
Yeah, that's a big thing. This team came into this series and people were expecting, I mean, we put the ESPN article up in one of our videos where there was only one person that said Canucks in 7. The rest of the Oilers winning in games 6, 5, 4, and they brought themselves straight to game 7. And obviously we have more quotes from the players. Pettersson on the push and no quit in the third. I think it shows a lot about what we're trying to build here and what we did all year. We also go on to Connor Garland, who was tearing up while talking, and he said, they're the greatest, they really are. It's hard not to get emotional at the end because they are the best. It's too bad we came up short, but we'll be better for that. Yeah, they're the greatest, and this is just a lot coming from these leaders of the team. Connor Garland, I keep bringing up, was a guy that fans, including myself, were very hard on last season. This was a guy that was almost pushed out of this market. People wanted him moved. He came in and had an incredible season. A guy like JT Miller is the exact same thing. Yes, Elias Pettersson is going through the current treatment of being hated on, yelled at, not sticking up or doing things for the team like a lot of fans are saying. But these guys want to win. You can see from their post games how much they put themselves on the ice, their bodies on the line, trying until the final seconds, even if the outcome's not the best. We also see Captain Quinn Hughes say, first playoff run for a lot of us, so we look at this and keep going. When asked how much stronger this team will be moving forward. And that's the biggest thing. When you look at this team as a whole, yes, they did falter. They did lose in Game 7. Do I call this an unsuccessful season? Definitely not. This is a team that's a young team, their first taste of the playoffs. We see multiple of these guys getting into their first playoff race that they've ever been in. We see a lot of guys like Ian Cole led this team in career playoff games. This is a young team. They have the monkeys on their back. They want to rip the monkeys off, make a deep run. They're hungry. They want to be successful. After getting a taste of this, I think the Canucks will have yet again another deep run. And Griffen, what's your thoughts on that as well?
I absolutely agree. I think they have a lot of the pieces in place to go on a repeat run like this and go further. I think next year they'll definitely slay the dragon that is the Edmonton Oilers and go further into the playoffs, hopefully into the Western Final and onto the Stanley Cup, where we can be that first team that hoists the Stanley Cup in over 30 years. I know Edmonton still has a chance to do it, but we all know how Dallas is and how deep they are. So we'll see what happens there. So I have full confidence that the Canucks will be back in the playoffs next year. They have the leaders in place, they have the players in place. There's a few free agency moves they have to do, maybe a few trades to make as well. We'll get to that as when the offseason kicks in. That's not even a thought in our minds right now. Right now, it's just trying to just process this loss and move on to next season eventually. But, we have the offseason to do that. But it is nice to see how much passion these players have. Connor Garland, he was a guy who this series, he wanted it so bad. He wanted every goal that he was out there for, and he was all over the ice. He was everywhere. He was swarming the players. He was swarming the puck. He was racing for it. He was our fastest player by far, and he really showcased that and put it on full display. And as much as Pettersson did struggle, he did show life towards the end of the series and showed that competitive push, even though it didn't reflect on the score sheet as much. He still really showed up when he needed to. Maybe not in the capacity that he should have, but he still was giving his all out there. It wasn't like he was phoning it in or just getting cardio out there. He wasn't showing up on the score sheet, but again, he was just putting himself out there and trying to make something happen.
Yeah, because with this roster, whatever this team does, Patrik Allvin, Trader Jim, these guys are going to make the moves that are needed. Yes, there's some guys that we're going to see return next season. There's going to be new faces on this roster. We will break this all down in the offseason, like Griffen said, but right now, I'm sure no one really wants to think about that or wish we were looking at that aspect of this year so far. But the big thing with this is, and I wanted to point out, where Quinn Hughes said the first playoff run, how they will get stronger moving forward. The biggest thing with this Canucks team, when you look at other teams that have won the Stanley Cup, the Tampa Bay Lightning were a team that got swept by the Columbus Blue Jackets. They continued on to win multiple Stanley Cups. We've seen a team like the Pittsburgh Penguins lose to the New York Islanders. I believe it was 2015. They lost in the first round 4-1, continued on to win back-to-back cups. So this team is in a good spot. We have two goaltenders, one of Thatcher Demko, who didn't even get to play. Then we have the Minister of Defense just in the back end, coming in for his first playoffs, being outstanding. This team is young. This team wants to win. This team will make deep runs for the years to come. What are your guys' thoughts on all this? And we will get straight into the second topic today, which is Tocchet speaks out. Now, obviously, Rick Tocchet said he was talking to Adam Foote after the game and said he felt that they're going to be better for this. It was a great experience for this group. He continued on to say that they put respect back in the city and this jersey. He adds that the fans have something to be proud of, and that's all because of the players. You also continue on where he was talking about Artie Party. He was talking about Artie. He said Artie played his ass off for us. What a playoffs for the kid and his growth. And I couldn't have said it better. These players, the coaching staff, everyone put their heart and soul for this team. The Canucks are finally in the playoffs. Like he said here, Shelovs is a guy that came in and stole the show for the Vancouver Canucks, for the city, helped them get to Game 7. Starting off the game, he was outstanding. Rick Tocchet himself deserves a pat on the back as well from bringing this team that I think it was 5th, 6th, or 7th in the Pacific all the way up to the 1st in the Pacific this season, heading into the second round, something this team hasn't seen, felt in such a long time. And Griffen, what's your thoughts on just Shelovs and on Tocchet?
I think Tocchet is exactly what this team and this city has been needing. They've needed this culture change, and I think Tocchet is that person. He's a player's coach, and that comes from his playing experience as himself, and he has been a stand-up guy throughout his entire career, both on the ice as a player and as a coach. And I think that's really translated into this Vancouver team where, like you said, heart and soul, that is what this team is made of, as well as resilience. They're not going to give up. They're going to fight tooth and nail until that final whistle. So I think Tocchet is the right guy for this team. And I think he was that breakout player of these playoffs that we were wanting to see. Like, there was the great goals, the point scorers like Bouchard and Draisaitl and McDavid. But I think Shelovs was really the player who really broke out throughout this postseason, and not just in this series, but the entire playoffs in general. I think everyone was really not knowing who he was going into this postseason, except for Canucks fans and people who follow the Canucks. but then he really took the league by storm, took the media by storm, and people were loving this kid. It's going to be great to see his growth as his career moves forward, like Tocchet said. And like he said, we're going to be back here. And sometimes you have to lose in order to win. I think we've seen that with teams in the past, like you said, with Tampa and Pittsburgh. You have to get that taste of losing to want that victory more. And like we saw at Vancouver throughout this postseason and in the series in general, is that you play hungrier when you're playing from behind. When you play with the lead, you tend to get more comfortable. We saw Edmonton do that exactly tonight. So when you play from behind a little bit, you play a little hungrier, you play a little bit more competitive, and sometimes you come out with the victory. And I think that's what Vancouver is going to do going into next season.
Yeah, that's the big thing. The Stanley Cup is the hardest trophy to win in any professional sport. This is a team that's going to continuously push to make this run. It's just a matter of time before the Canucks finally make it back to the Stanley Cup Finals. Hopefully not repeating what they did in 2011, but finally hoisting the cup for the city. What's your guys' thoughts on just everything Tocchet said? What's your thoughts on what the player said? Let us know down in the comments. But speaking of comments, we'll get everyone's favorite topic, which is comment of the day. And the comment today comes from whatever that was. I'm just too tired to think right now. Never knew Drake Bell was such an avid Canucks fan, and I didn't either. And Drake Bell is obviously on the show with us. And Drake, what's your thoughts on being such a big Canucks fan?
I mean, it's great that the fans are showing that kind of appreciation. It's great to read, and didn't know it was that big of a Canucks fan. Yeah, it's definitely it's nice to be compared to celebrities. So I guess that's something. But it's still pretty funny. Love to see it though.
I
Thank you.
completely agree. I've never had people say I look like people say I look like or sound like Ray Romano or the Narwhal from Elf. If you guys want to let me know what I sound like down in the comments, you can do that as well. And one more thing I'll ask you, Griffin, before we kind of get to the end of this video. I know I was just saying how we had 2,055 subscribers. The biggest thing with this is we were at about 1,800 3 videos ago. I said our goal was to try to hit 2,000 before we eventually made the third round. Obviously, that's not happening as we did fall out of it. But the big thing was you guys showed the support and helped us get to 2,000. It was incredible. We were watching the subscriber count just go up and up and up. And it was just crazy how much you guys supported us, getting us to 2,000s. So one thing, Griffin, I'll ask, how many do you think we can get before the NHL draft?
I think 2,500 is a reasonable number. I think we've seen how fans and viewers can help us over a short period of time. We watched over the weekend how the numbers just went up and up. I think with the playoff, with us being out of the playoffs now, I think that there isn't going to be as many, flashy post-game things, but we're always going to have amazing things planned. We've been planning for exactly this thing with the off season. We have so many fun things planned that we cannot wait to show you guys. I know Mark and I, we cannot stop spitballing ideas off each other. We record these videos and we're talking for hours afterwards because we are such great fans of this team, and we cannot wait to bring you guys more amazing content, and I cannot wait to see what we bring you guys.
Yeah, just because the season's ending, we're not going to stop putting content out. We're still going to do daily content, if that's anything from just draft things to prospects, player breakdowns, free agency, rumors. Anything you can think of, we will cover. And if you guys want us to do interviews with people, I know a lot of people that watch this is huge fans of the Kempener Canucks. So we are reaching out, and we will be getting just kind of a video with him. We're going to be reaching out to subscribers. Whatever you guys want to see, let us know down in the comments. Speaking of comments, if you do leave a comment, you could be featured on the next episode of Canucks Digest as comment of the day. But the season is over. Sadly, we will be back tomorrow. It's not going to be a post game, but we will be covering everything to do with the Canucks. But I've been your host, Mark, with my co-host, Drake Bell. Have a good one.